So don't let this, if Nina Turner goes the wrong direction and spins off into hopelessness and despair and cynicism, that would be a terrible loss. But if she acts like Cori Bush and puts her nose down and says, I aided on this one. I made some mistakes. It's time to run again. She could win.
Let's maul in the Central Committee. Let's cringe in the Central Committee. Let's bog in the Central Committee right now.
Well, everybody, it's a difficult day. A difficult day today. Because before we get into the analysis, it's important for us to take stock of what happened. And I have a lot of thoughts about this race. But you have to take your hats off to the opposition. You have to see, what did my opponent do to beat me? You know, it's one thing to think it's unfair. You lost. It was unfair. But it's time for you to look at it, be honest, and say, what did they do right and what did we do wrong? That is an important element of the maturity. And I can tell you right now, if you are in politics, defeat is going to be part of your life. Losing is going to be part of your life. And that's okay. That's part of it. You know, I love Nina Turner, but this is the type of stories you're going to be seeing. This is the type of stories you're going to be seeing. As I predicted, now that Shontel Brown has won, you're going to see a lot of this stuff. I want you to realize that this is what's known as bullshit. It doesn't mean that you rest on your laurels, but this is bullshit. So what happened? Besides Nina Turner losing, what actually happened? What was the mechanism? Well, I'm going to be having a long discussion. In case everybody doesn't know this. Let me see if I can pull this up. Shontel Brown, as of the last poll, has taken the race with 50.2% of the vote. I'm also expecting a lot of Turner raised far more internal funds and yet didn't outspend Brown nearly enough. Where did the money go? Articles. Well, first of all, I think that there is a lot to criticize the Turner campaign about. There's a lot to criticize the Turner campaign about, and I'm going to be doing that. I think one of the biggest problems that we have on the left is not doing any there's not enough self-crit, to be quite honest with you. There was not enough critique of Bernie Sanders' campaign. There was not enough criticism of Bernie Sanders' campaign. And I got to be honest, I see a lot of the same mistakes in Turner's campaign, rather, that I saw in Bernie's campaign. Second of all, and this is actually very important, and I don't want you to underestimate this. This is a structural defeat as well. This is a structural defeat as well, which is an important point. This is a special election in an odd year. Turnout is abysmal. I think last I heard it was around 17% turnout. 17% turnout. Any advice on staying hopeful? Don't worry, And I told you a few months ago that most of her staff were hacks from the Ohio Party and Svezra. It's so true. It's so true. This is actually true. Chat. There is a member of our community, Spezfra. I don't know how to say your name, bro. Who did message me concerns about Nina Turner's staffing campaign months ago from the perspective of DSA. And they were saying, Mike, I'm a DSA member, and a lot of Nina Turner's staff are from, you know, the Ohio Democratic Party establishment. They're fucking stupid. They're incompetent. We don't like them. It makes me concerned about how Nina's going to be as a rep and blah, 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 blah. And I said, listen, I don't know enough about Ohio to give you a fair account of these internal, like, I don't know these people. I could just take your word for it, but I don't know Ohio people well enough to give you that kind of, hey, Charlieback Boy, thanks for 15 months. But a lot of her losses contributed to mainstream media covering Chantel Brown than her. No. I have a problem. Like, a lot of the online left didn't do anything for Nina Turner. That's just a fact, man. That's just a fact. She lost by 5,000 votes, or excuse me, a little over 4,000 votes, 4,200 votes. The online left didn't do shit for her. That's the facts, Jack. Most of the stuff was kind of attacking her for ticky-tack bullshit. Like, why aren't you leaving your district to go do this Medicare for All march? You know, if you were a person who went to Columbus, Ohio to stand around saying with 100 other people going, we need Medicare for All now, your efforts would have been far better driving to Cleveland and knocking some doors. That's the truth. And then I went out to, they were from Cordray's campaign and straight from the Ohio party, Dave Pepper people, the absolute worst ghouls Ohio has. Cordray had a horrible campaign in 2018, drug down all Dems. I saw people in political Twitch chats asking who Nina Turner was. I mean, well, there you need to know. That's all you need to know about those chats, right? They don't do shit. They're useless. Jacobin had a good piece recently. It pointed out that these political races are sort of shortcuts to getting where we want to go with Medicare for All, Green New Deal, etc. Specifically, Bernie, but would apply this to race as well. The long game is continue to organize the working class. I have to agitate, educate, and organize for those things at every level. Of course. The thing people should understand is that because it is an odd year and lower turnout is expected, so the engaged people who turn out to vote are overwhelmingly white and wealthy, Nina's not going to win with low turnout at all. Well, it depends on what the low turnout is, right? But you're right. This is a special election. The type of people that turn out for special elections are wealthier and older. Period. Special elections are not for the, you know, the progressive left is going to be battling uphill in every special election. That's absolutely true. Nina fucked up too. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I have said this before. This is one of my most unpopular opinions with many people online, but this is the truth. The fact that AOC doesn't have a lot of quotes of her saying negative, super negative shit about other Democrats is good. It's smart. AOC is a hell of a lot more popular with rank and file Democrats than other people from the Bernie Sanders camp. Because when she attacks the rich, when she attacks the establishment, she does it in a very intelligent way. She picks her words. She's smart enough not to endorse the Green Party and shit like that. So it's very hard to actually get her quotes of her where you can argue she's helping the Republicans. That's just true. AOC has actually walked this path very intelligently and realized one thing that a lot of people don't realize, which is a lot of people are vote blue team players. They're progressive on policy, but their number one identity is Democrat. And they like Obama. And they like Biden. And they like Bernie. Now, you are probably sitting here like, what? There's someone who likes Bernie and Biden and likes Bernie's policies? What? Yeah. That's called elderly people. That's called the Democratic base. And I urge people to get out there and fucking knock some doors and talk to people. And you'll realize that that's actually most Democratic voters. They like Bernie. They like AOC. They like Cory Bush. They like Obama. It doesn't make any fucking sense, but that's what they believe. It's the team. They like the team. And they're open to the progressive ideas. And they support them when they have a chance to vote for the $15 minimum wage at a ballot initiative, or when they can talk to a pollster about Medicare for all. They support it. But that's different than a vote. The number one attack ad was the bowl of shit. Absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't like that stuff. I mean, like, listen, I hate Joe Biden, which is part of the reason why I think I would be a bad candidate, because I've shit talked on Biden so much that it would be used against me very effectively. I also know that a lot of people trust this motherfucker. Now, if you are going against the entire grain of the fucking media, and then you want to run in a Democratic primary in a special election with low turnout, the type of person that comes out and votes in a special election is going to be that kind of blue, I love the blue team person. And if you're seen as shitting on the blue team, they may agree with you on policy, but they're not going to like that you're shitting on the blue team. That's just the way it is, man. When you didn't come back from Cleveland super enthusiastic, I got a little worried. Oh, I didn't even get into that. So I am going to pick my words very intentionally here. From what I saw, the field team was incompetent. That wasn't very carefully worded. No, I intentionally worded it that way. Why, though? Okay, I'll tell you. So, a couple weeks ago, chat, I said, hey, I'm going out to Cleveland to just give a little bit of help to Nina Turner and get a feel. So, I'd say about 10, 15 people from our community showed up with me on the moment's notice. We knocked doors, and when they showed up, you know what they said to all the extra volunteers that we had show up? I'm sorry, we're out of packets. We don't have any doors for you to knock. What? So we had like 7 or 8 people go knock like 40 doors together. And then when I showed up to a phone bank, an in-person phone bank, they were out of numbers for me to call. Now, as somebody who has worked in a campaign before, there's no such thing as out of numbers or out of doors. That's not a thing. That is absolutely not a thing. There's no fucking way you're calling through the 500,000 Democrats that are in that district. And you've actually talked to every single one of them. That is not happening. So I showed up and they were like, oh, we're out of phone. And I was like, okay, no, you're not out of numbers. You're going to get me some phone numbers. You're going to get me numbers. And I stayed on the guy, and eventually I got a packet. But he was disheveled. He was discombobulated. It was 2 weeks before the election, and he didn't know how to handle volunteers. And I was just sitting back to myself, and I was like, oh my God. If this was my campaign, I would have fired this kid. Like, legitimately, I would have fired this kid. I was sitting back and I was like, and I saw 4 or 5 or 6 volunteers, people that had shown up in person, sitting there twiddling their fucking thumbs. And I was like, do you have a virtual phone bank? Can you set people up on minivan? Can you go print more fucking phone calls? Like, what? And I finally got some phone calls. I made the calls. I probably only had like between 5 and 10 contacts, because most of the time when you call phones, no one's home, right? The phone calls were pretty positive, but it was a GOTV universe. That's a get out the vote universe. That is not your persuasion universe. You expect every person you call at a GOTV universe to be pro your candidate. So, I had a bad experience with the field team. I was really disappointed that they didn't take advantage of all the people that I brought there. And that was a big red flag. So maybe we were just unlucky in that in 2 separate events, they were not able to handle the volunteers that they had, and they ran around like chickens with their heads cut off. But bad sign. Really bad sign. Do you think it was self-sabotage? No, I just think people are It's a hard job. So I was pretty unhappy with the field team. I was pretty unhappy, but that stuff happened. So, I said, hey, it's just one anecdote. I'm not going to assume that is the way everything's going on. But I felt pretty dissatisfied with the situation there. And I was pretty disappointed that's what happened. If the couple of us that showed up early didn't, we might not have gotten any doors at all because everyone that showed up closer to start time didn't get a packet. Pathetic. Second of all, polling. Polling doesn't matter in primary elections. Here, I'm going to show you something. A warning on the accuracy of primary polls. Primary polls are horrifically inaccurate. And this is for the presidential race. For a congressional race in a special election with 16% turnout, polling is useless. That is, Nate Silver, yeah, This is Ohio Dems sounds like. The only thing Dems do even is outside of cities in Ohio is go to their own dinners and talk to people already in the party that are going to vote for them. Here's the quote by Devs, really hit different after this loss. Socialism is a matter of growth, of evolution, which can be advanced by wise methods, but never by obtaining for it a fictitious vote. We should seek only to register the actual vote of socialism, no more and no less. Right now, the actual vote is small. It's going to take a long time to build it up, but we will win. There's a lot of people that support policies. And how did Nina have such a commanding lead? She had name recognition. But you know what money can buy you, chat? Name recognition. So once Shontel Brown was picked by the Democratic establishment as the person that they were going to throw real resources behind, name recognition advantage went out the fucking window. And you know what they did? They spent that money. DMFI PAC alone spent $1.2 million in attack ads. Third Way spent $500,000 in attack ads. Protecting Our Vote PAC spent $100,000 supporting Brown. You can see this is the. By the way, this is the outside. This is the outside spending. Congressional Progressive Campaign Committee, $100,000 for Brown. MoveOn.org, that looks like $10,000 or $25,000. National Nurses United, $10,000. Ohio Women Rising, $5,000. Rebellion PAC, that looks to be about $25,000. Working Family Party Independent Expenditure Committee looks to be about $175,000. And so when somebody spends this much money attacking you, you better have a fucking response. There was some discussion about the need for Nina to spend a lot early. Do you know the dynamics there? I can tell you right now, I disagree with that kind of decision. I think that is a horrifically dumb decision. As somebody who's run campaigns a lot, the worst thing you can do is run out of steam 2 weeks before the election. You should be starting at your last ad and working your way backward. And as you raise money, you should be adding earlier ads. But you should have the end first and then build back from that. And I just don't think, I mean, this is all tactic shit. This is all Monday morning quarterbacking shit. But I said something a couple days before the election. I want to show you it because it made me very concerned. Hold on, let me pull it up. And you'll know what I was talking about. And I was concerned. I've been concerned for a long time. Quite honestly. Jordan posted this money. Third Way just dumped another $250,000 on anti-Nina Turner smear ads. And I replied, they must have some sort of tracking polls showing some movement, or this is the best burning of donor money I've seen. I won't relax until this race is called. Very scary stuff. And this was July 30th. So when I saw this stuff, as much as I hate the Third Way, as much as I hate these scumbags, they know how to smear progressives in Democratic primaries, that's their one thing they're good at. And they don't just blow money on hopeless races all the time. They try to pick their spots. And so when I saw that, I was very concerned. And it's a very, very frustrating, and, you know, you could see it coming. You could see something coming. I was concerned. I was nervous. I mean, after I went out there and the experience I had with the field team, and I'm a highly sophisticated person, okay? I can walk into a room and run the field program. You know, like, you don't need, I just show up and I could do your job, okay? So when I walk in and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to make some phone calls, I will knock out 100 phone calls in 2 hours like that. And I was there for like 4 fucking hours and I made 40 calls. And it's like, are you shitting me? Everybody's like, Hasmod's okay, dude. No, the point, this is not a brag. This is a statement of like, just, and if I were a normal person, I would have left. I would be like, oh, I guess Nina Turner's got all the volunteers she needs, doesn't need any more doors knocked, doesn't need any more phone calls. I'm good to go. Yay, I saw AOC, and I would have fucking left. That is not acceptable. Period. Now, what were some of the ads? I mean, some of this stuff is on Facebook.
But we begin with Ohio's 11th district congressional race and next week's primary election. The gloves are off and the mudslinging is well underway between Cuyahoga County Democratic Party Chair Shontel Brown and former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner. You have no doubt seen the attacks and TV ads from both sides. So how do you know what's true and what's not? 3 News investigator Rachel Polanski is fact-checking for us tonight.
Let's go. Let's check it out.
On council, Brown voted to give more than $32 million in taxpayer contracts to a company connected to her boyfriend and family.
We rank this as partially true. I pulled Cuyahoga County Council voting records from 2017 and 2020. In both cases, Shontel Brown was one of 11 council members who unanimously voted to award a $7 million contract and a $3 million contract to the Perk Company for resurfacing roads in Greater Cleveland. In 2014, when Brown was running for council, she accepted a large campaign donation from Mark Perkins, who she was engaged to at the time. Cleveland.com reported that she said if she were elected, she would recuse herself from county contracts with ties to Mark Perkins. We rank this as partially true because Brown did not recuse herself from those contracts. However, we could not verify the $32 million amount.
She even voted to give herself a $7,000 pay raise.
We rank this one as true. In 2016, Cuyahoga
So they say
County
it's partially true because they couldn't figure it out because they're stupid? Okay, dude. That sounds like true to me. So, I mean, like, what?
Council members voted 7-4 to raise council salaries by 15.5%, or $7,000, from $45,000 a year to $52,000 a year. And on the other side of the aisle, we had a hard time finding ads in which Shontel Brown's campaign openly attacked Nina Turner's campaign. We did, however, find a pro-Israel PAC called Democratic Majority for Israel spending a lot of money to support Brown and oppose Turner. We also found ads like this one from thirdway.org.
In 2020, she trashed Joe Biden.
You got 2 bowls of in front of you.
We rank this as true. At the time, Turner was working on the Bernie Sanders campaign, and she was talking about Sanders voters choosing between President Biden or President Trump. She was also quoted in The Atlantic, saying, "You have a bowl of in front of you, and all you've got to do is eat half of it instead of the whole thing. It's still."
So what's Nina Turner really up to?
Nina Turner is running as a Democrat, but really is not a Democrat.
We rank this as false. While Nina Turner is progressive, campaigning recently with former NAACP President Ben Jealous and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she is, of course, a registered Democrat. This ad attempts to paint her as someone who does not support the party agenda.
Something else I want to point out, at the end of these ads, look for this line, paid for by. That's where you can tell if this ad was paid for by the candidate's campaign or by a PAC. In this case, it was paid for by the DMFI PAC. Rachel Polanski, 3 News.
Again, the special primary election is Tuesday.
Yep.
The respective winners of the Democratic.
Yep. Yeah. So, as you can see, the main attack ads they did is Nina Turner voted against the party platform. which included a minimum wage, which included health care, blah, 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 right? Nina Turner said voting for Joe Biden was like eating a bowl of shit. Nina Turner is not helping the Democrats beat the Republicans. Because the number one thing about what a person's political party is today is not their positions. It's that they're anti the other side. The only unifier with the Democratic Party right now is they're anti-Republican. And the only unifier on the Republican side is that they love Trump. And they're also anti-Democrat, right? That is the thing. So if you're not seen as anti the other side strong enough, even people that agree with you on all these issues are going to see you as not on their team. That's what it is. It is a red jersey versus blue jersey. You know, I'll give you an example that maybe it'll make sense. I don't give a shit about parties. At least the American party system. The American parties mean nothing. But if we make that an analogy, it'd be like this. What would you think of a person that was, quote, a left-wing lock fan? Now, left-wing lock, Chad, if you don't know, is a specific type of defensive strategy in ice hockey, okay? I'm sorry, but... And you say, I'm not a fan of a team from this city. I just like teams that support the left-wing lock. And I go around and I only support the teams that support the left-wing lock. I'm a fucking freak. People are going to be like, wait, what teams do you like? Well, currently the Pittsburgh Penguins are doing the left-wing lock, so I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. Well, they changed their strategy. They're now doing the 2-2-1. I'm no longer a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. People be like, what? That's weird. That's what people think of you if you're like, I only care about the policies. They're like, what? You only care about the policies? What? They think you're weird. Imagine trying to sell a sports analogy to online leftists. I think it makes sense to everybody, right? I think you can understand what I'm trying to say here. People like to have a team that's part of their hometown or a player that they really identify and parasocialize with, right? And if you're like me and you want to see more left-wing locks, then you go and look for the coaches that support a left-wing lock and get a fucking cult of personality around them and try to get them hired at a team. And then you try to support that team. That's what you're doing. There's a bunch of people that are literally allergic to tribalism shit. We exist. Yeah, but you're the minority, bro. You're the extreme minority. No more than, say, 10% of people total are ideological like you or me. I'm sorry to tell you that. Ohio is not much different from Alabama, though, Mike. In 2012, the Dems had more a vote for the state legislature, but the GOP won the supermajority. Since then, the GOP have dismantled every municipality and gerrymandering to oblivion. My county is 36% vaxxed. It's an example of what they will do naturally. Nationally, IMO, if the Dems don't win midterms or pass voting, I mean, it's already too late. Now I understand what you mean. Thank you so much. Okay. So we've criticized one. Nina, I actually think the rhetoric where you just pointlessly attack the Democratic Party, if you're going to run as a politician in the Democratic Party, is foolish. There, I said it. This is a very unpopular opinion. I think if you're a politician and you want the Democratic nomination, pointlessly just attacking the Democratic Party is a foolish move. I think you should attack the persons that are doing and the organizations that are doing the thing. Like, that's what you should be attacking. You should be attacking the rich. You should be attacking corporations. You should be attacking the 1%. And I think if you look at what Bernie and AOC's rhetoric is, at least for the past 5-6 years, they've been listening to what I'm saying here. They agree with what I'm saying implicitly. If you have shown chat what this abomination of the district looks like, I mean, it's a very safe Democratic district. And then there's the elephant in the room. Bernie versus Biden, liberal versus establishment. The 11th congressional district race is much more complex than the national narrative of late. Oh, no, I'm sure this is true. And then there's Marcia Fudge. Marcia Fudge, is a protege of Fudge. Don't underestimate this. Marcia Fudge, who the reason why we have this special election, her mom endorsed Shontel Brown. She was behind the scenes pulling the strings of all her local connections for Shontel Brown. Don't fucking underestimate that. That was an important part. There was an attempt to manufacture a national conflict, and it worked. It worked. Of course it worked. Of course it's a horrible gerrymander. It's a packed district. It's a district that's designed to be packed with all Democrats. Winning is less important than ideology. Reject the corrupt electoralism. Now, excuse me, the Lord says I need to back out the stables. Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to be talking about this. This is the ultimate third rail of politics. If you ever wonder, why are there so few politicians in America that stand up to Israel? I want you to remember this race. I remember when I was working in politics, there was a candidate for the Senate in Pennsylvania that I knew very well. And they told me, Mike, my fundraiser just said to me, all I have to do is say that I support Israel's right to defend itself, and I'm going to get $50,000 tomorrow. They have me calling these rich billionaires, and the only thing they care about is my position on Israel. And if I say that I agree with Israel, they will max out to me and then hang up the phone. And here you see Shontel Brown doing exactly that. The United States of America and Israel have a deep, special, and unbreakable bond. The United States was the first country to recognize the Jewish state on the day of its establishment. Over the last 70 years, our relationship has deepened and grown stronger. I value Israel as America's closest and most reliable ally in a volatile region of the world, as the sole democracy in the Middle East, and as a safe haven and homeland for the Jewish people. When I visited Israel, I observed the fruits of the friendship between our nations firsthand. I was eager to immerse myself in the well-preserved religious sites, and I found myself enamored by Israel's robust democracy and incredible diversity. Our relationships must be permanent and durable, one that is nourished on an ongoing basis and withstands any temporary policy disagreements. If elected to the U.S. Congress, I will work to strengthen this crucial international relationship and partner with Israel to advance our common goals and values. As a black person in a community where occurrences of gunfire are not uncommon, I understood the vulnerability felt by Israelis facing the real risk of rocket attacks and the fear of parents forced to squeeze their children into bomb shelters on the Gaza border. I am proud that our government invested in Israel's Iron Dome. I believe that Israel has a right to defend itself, and the United States must continue to help Israel retain its qualitative military edge. I support the Memorandum of Understanding between the U.S. and Israel that was negotiated by the Obama administration, which provides $3.8 billion in annual military funding, including $500 million for missile defense, with no further conditions. I support President Biden's effort to get a longer, stronger, and broader nuclear agreement with Iran. In Congress, I will be following the efforts closely. We encourage his administration to reach a deal that addresses the shortcomings of the Iran nuclear agreement, including its failure to address Iran's ballistic missile program, or Iran's support for regional terrorist proxies like Hezbollah and Hamas. By the way, chat, this is the Republican point of view. In case you were wondering, that's the Republican position. In case you were wondering, she's literally repeating the Republican position. Anyway, I oppose the global boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, which seeks to weaken, isolate, and delegitimize Israel. The BDS movement was founded by people who oppose Israel's right to exist and want to use it as a means of inflicting harm on Israel. BDS is also counterproductive to peacefully resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Peace can only be achieved by Israelis and Palestinians sitting together, negotiating with one another, and finding a resolution of the conflict. Attempts to impose a resolution on the conflict, whether by the United States, European Union, United Nations, or others, are destined to failure. This is radical far-right shit. I don't know what to tell you, man. This is radical far-right. Her position is indistinguishable from the Republican Party on Israel, just in case you were wondering. My God, dude. And that's where that DMFI money came in. That's where that money came from. Democratic majority for Israel. Bam. Bam. You know what you don't see on this list? Palestine Liberation Fund. Read the first paragraph of the third page. Oh, fuck, I closed it because I was disgusted by it. In order to move the peace process forward, Palestinians must recommit to achieving statehood peacefully, rather than attempting to achieve statehood by going to international bodies or pursuing claims against Israel in international courts. Palestinians should return to the negotiating table with Israel. Similarly, Palestinians must stop practices which promote terrorism and undermine confidence in their commitment to peace, such as making payments to families of those who perpetuate acts of terrorism. Yeah. Stop going to international courts. Stop going to international courts, Palestinians. Stop trying to use this evidence. Stop trying to, talk about the facts to a neutral third party. Go to Israel, which we were giving $3 billion of weapons. Totally giving $3 billion worth of weapons every year, totally with no strings attached. Amazing. But there you go, chat. Now you get it. $2 million. Boom. And 1.2 million of it was dirty money. Chantel Brown got to say, I'm not running a dirty campaign, while DMFI dropped millions of dollars on attacking Nina Turner. Third Way with the $500,000 spend. Nearly $2 million on negative ads. They work, man. They work. I hope they arrest Chantel White while she's in office because of the accusations for shady business dealings. I know I'll get my popcorn and ready and plot myself. So this is the stuff that you should watch. This is what you need to realize. All right. So now, chat, who's ready for some hopium? Who's ready for some copium? Who wants hopium? Who wants copium? All right, chat. It's time for the hopium. It's time for the copium. We're going to do it. I mean, obviously, we covered this at the time. But we're going to get some hopium. We're going to get some copium. And then we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this more. 2018, Cori Bush 37, William Clay 57. 2020, Cori Bush 49, William Clay 46. And that's what I want to tell you. Cori Bush just got the eviction moratorium extended. Cori Bush just got the eviction moratorium extended. In 2018, she got destroyed. She lost by 20 points. 20 fucking points. But she stuck to it. She ran again. She did not give up. And then boom, 2020, she won. She took it away. Now Cori Bush is the congresswoman. If you think that politics is I run once, I have good ideas, I win, you are in for a world of hurt. But you talk about the possible impact of HR 1 on campaigns like Turner's. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to donate to the Democratic majority of the DMFI would have to disclose all their donors. All the super PACs would have to disclose all their donors. So Cori Bush won. And there's someone else I want to show you, chat. Similarly, Marie Newman. She ran against Dan Lipinski in Illinois' 3rd District. This was Trump's favorite Democrat, Daniel Lipinski. Pro-life, anti-Obamacare, far right. Hey, Admiral Coffee, thanks for the tier 1. Marie Newman got destroyed. She lost 2018. And then in 2020, she ran again. And again, she won. She was victorious. She beat Dan Lipinski. And now she's the Medicare for All, Green New Deal, Justice Democrat. There's other people, chat, that are just like Nina. Like Jessica Cisneros. She ran in 2020. And she just lost by 3%. I don't want her to give up. She's a Justice Democrat. This is Trump's second favorite Democrat, Henry Cuellar. But she's coming again. And in 2022, she's going to win it. The eviction moratorium, didn't they rule over a month ago that they didn't extend it anymore? That's why Biden said he couldn't do it. Another executive order. Am I mistaken? Well, it was premised off of certain details happening. The Ohio 11th District is going away. Would be interesting to see a rematch. Exactly, Panda Dog. They're going to be redrawing all of these districts, chat. They're going to be redrawing the districts in Ohio. So the Ohio 11th district is going to be different because Ohio is losing a congressional seat. Ohio is losing a congressional seat, so they've got to reshuffle the entire district. And furthermore, it's going to be a regular primary, not a special election, a regular primary. Turnout's going to be higher. So don't let this, if Nina Turner goes the wrong direction and spins off into hopelessness and despair and cynicism, that would be a terrible loss. But if she acts like Cori Bush and puts her nose down and says, I aided on this one. I made some mistakes. It's time to run again. She could win. And, you know, one of the things that really frustrates me is people that look at this race and go, it shows why we can never win in the Democratic Party. It shows we can't win. She lost by 5 percentage points. That's impossible to make up. It's hopeless. It was a special election. The entire third way, the entire corrupt establishment could focus on that one race and pour money into it. When there's 435 elections taking place, they can't put all their effort against Nina Turner. They've got a million other races they've got to defend. They were able to concentrate their forces on this race. They're not going to be able to do that again in 2022. They can't do it again in 2022. That's the reality. And the other thing, the one other piece of advice I would have for you about politics is don't get one-itis. Don't become attached to any one particular race. If you become attached to any one particular race, you are going to be disappointed far more than you are happy. Nina's concession speech is proof that this isn't the end. It's the beginning. Okay, actually, we should watch that.
See, there's a debt that has to be paid. And Sister Turner not playing. I am going to work hard to ensure that something like this never happens to a progressive candidate or leader. See, we didn't lose this race. Evil money manipulated and maligned in this election. And I don't want you to relent because it took evil money. It took evil money to come in here and do this. But I swear to you
They got the right one.
that as sure as there is a God in heaven, Sister Turner gonna continue working with every fiber of her being until true justice reigns.
Were you saying that this election will be key in terms of Medicare for all will now be portrayed as the Democratic Party and the centrists will use this to say we don't need Medicare for all? Absolutely. Well, they will. They already are. They already are. What do you mean? Here it is right here. Here's Axios. Ohio's Nina Turner upset flashes warning signs for the left in 2022. In a special primary for the U.S. House of the Cleveland area, Cuyahoga County member Shontel Brown pulled out a surprise victory for the Democratic establishment in Cleveland. The left stars had come out for her leading opponent, progressive Nina Turner. 5 days ago, Senator Bernie Sanders campaigned in Akron. 10 days ago, Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stumped in Cleveland. Brown far behind Turner in polls and money for her campaign. Not money overall, because super PACs came in and spent it so that Brown had a slight advantage. Matt Bennett of the centrist Third Way said, once again, the pundits in the Twitterverse got it wrong and Democratic voters picked the moderate over the candidate ordained by the far left. In another special in Ohio last night, Trump-backed coal lobbyist Mike Carey won a crowded GOP primary in the race to replace former U.S. Rep. Steve Stevers, a Republican. Jesus Christ, dude. SKDK is Anita Dunn's firm, who is special advisor to Biden, who doesn't have to disclose her conflicts of interest and ethics report because it's not an official position. Yeah. Steve Stevers. Sorry if you talked about this already, but what do you think of the other three districts with Justice Dems hopefuls? I think every one of them's got a shot. I think the one thing that you should guard against is thinking that drawing any too severe conclusions about it from this. anytime you draw excessive conclusions based on one race, you're fucking up. And I love Nina Turner. I wanted her to win. I campaigned for her. I argued for her. I told you all to give her money. But the reality is that these fights are going to keep going. And that they have messaging. They're not stupid. They have a plan. And they execute their plan. You and Jordan had cautious optimism. This wasn't unforeseen. Exactly. I can tell you right now that I was concerned. Whenever Third Way and DMFI are spending many millions of dollars on a race, they're not stupid. They're doing it because they see an opening. But also think that getting leftists into a position of power in the U.S. is going to be anything other than hard work that takes a while, is not in touch with reality. Expect losses because everything is against us. Absolutely. The Republican Party is against us. The Democratic Party is against us. Corporate money is against us. The establishment media is against us. That's the fucking reality, man. Did you think it was going to be easy? Online left-wing grifters are against us. And that's why, chat. This is a thread from Ryan Grimm that I wanted to show you.
Corporations can scheme in the meantime.
Like the Congress members have said, the work is still not done, and that requires us being here. Everyone keeps asking, what should we do now? We're going to keep here. We're going to stay here until the rest of the work gets done.
We're not buying the theatrics. We're not buying the theatrics.
It's not over. There's still one person.
No, I'm not one person, my man, right there. We have 137 people watching.
137 people. Damn.
For a small channel, what, you're going to say I can't do this?
I didn't say you can't do this, but you're talking like
Yeah, there's homeless people that owe rent. What are we going to do about that? This is only a 90-day pause, and they know it. They don't. You saw how AOC said, oh, we'll talk about that later, because she doesn't have an answer now. Because she hasn't thought about it. Just like she waited for this for months. She waited for this for months, and then to do this last minute, she has a huge following. They were tweeting about it months ago.
She had her first legislation.
And I think that we're making a small... What do you mean, what was I doing? Informing people. You think I shouldn't inform people? How am I trolling? How is it irrelevant that they're using money? How is it irrelevant that they're using money for wars when they could be giving money to the homeless?
Dumbass.
They voted for... No, they didn't. They voted against it for Israel.
No, they voted against it. You don't even know what you're talking about.
I know what I'm talking about.
One link of research before you go out.
They increased the budget for Israel.
Go like your YouTube channel.
Later, the guy turned his camera on me and asked why I sheepdog people into the Democratic Party or some such. The problem with building your online persona, brand, politics around the idea that nothing good can ever happen is that if something decent happens, you feel compelled to diminish it. And soon you actively try to stop good things from happening, just to prove your own cynicism correct. Cynicism is cowardice masking itself as toughness. It's fear of believing in something, for fear you'll just be disappointed. It's totally understandable, but that's all it is. Fear transformed into a coping mechanism. Apparently this guy in the video uses this PFP. Guess I can't criticize because I am actually not a 3-year-old, despite my PFP. I really wanted you to... This is something that I want you to read and understand. Cynicism is cowardice masking itself as toughness. It's a fear of believing in something. There is absolutely no cowardice here. I don't give a shit. I wanted Bernie Sanders to win. I wanted Nina Turner to win. I wanted Cori Bush to win. I wanted Marie Newman to win. I wanted Katie Porter to win. I wanted AOC to win. I wanted Jamal Bowman to win. Guess what? I win some, I lose some. That's how it works. And just when AOC was elected doesn't mean that we have achieved the promised land. Nina Turner losing doesn't mean we give up or that we can't win. That's what they want you to do. That's why they spent the millions of dollars. Are you stupid? Mike, you keep saying it's a long slog and a war battle by battle. I agree that is how to win, but we also only have a year before the midterms of new gerrymandered districts. Well, no shit. No shit. Thoughts on people accusing Nina of anti-Semitism because she thinks Palestinians are human beings? I mean, that's a Zionist for you. What do you want me to say? Chantel Brown, an acceptance speech, thanks Jewish brothers and sisters. Does anyone have a link to that? Can you link me that? Here's the link. Okay, thank you.
To me, but when you stand on the land where you see a person who has a firecracker that's been dropped by a drone near the Gaza Strip, you within a few feet of a bomb shelter, you can appreciate the vulnerability of a state, and that has given me the understanding of the importance of the U.S.-Israel relationship. So I thank my Jewish brothers.
Yeah, there you go. Zionist play. During an Ohio victory speech, Chantel Brown thanks my Jewish brothers and sisters and expresses support for the U.S.-Israel relationship. I have to say that it's pretty impressive, man. It's pretty impressive from the point of view of power, right? She said, hey, I'm for sale. I'm actively for sale. And she knew that voters would not know that. And wow. The one anti-Semitic dog whistle you'll never get criticized for in American politics. What's anti-Semitic about what she said? Isn't Israel the homeland of the Jewish people? No, I'm from Washington, D.C. Jesus Christ. Yeah. That's anti-Semitic, all right. That's anti-Semitic, all right. You could say, oh, I thank my Jewish brothers and sisters because of Israel. It's a foreign country, man. The most effective of bad faith attacks against the left is to cry anti-Semitism. It's hard for our side to launch such attacks with a straight face. Well, we're not evil fucking ghouls, right? We're not scumbag ghouls. We have a problem with lying like that.
We do politics here every morning starting at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. You can watch us here on Twitch. We're the morning guy. The morning politics guy. Politics Frogs in every single day. Same time, 10 a.m. Day in, day out. And we carry you through your morning and early afternoon politics needs. And if you need more, Mike from PA, we have a YouTube channel. We talked about suburbs, the My Pillow guy, Ted Cruz. We talked about DSA. Amazing. Making fun of Tim Pool. Amazing. Look at all of these amazing videos. Get in there, watch them. We have me on Twitter. You got to follow me on Twitter, chat. I'm at 20,614 subs. That means I got like 40 followers on Twitter in the last day. You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Go follow us on Twitter. And of course, join the Discord, where we have an incredible community of left-wing streamers. We have left-wing community. We talk about the stream. We talk about politics. There's gaming content. It's a really awesome, supportive place. Direct action, mutual aid. And you can just let off some steam. And also, you can help produce the show. One of the things I do is I look at the links that are put into the news content suggestions chat room on the Discord. Join the Discord, come hang out, and maybe what you want me to talk about will be part of the next show.